It's the top of the hour here. We're still connecting to our social feeds, and we still have everybody joining us. So introduce yourself on the comments. Tell us where you're where you are at this moment. I see Germany, I see the UK, I see Seattle, Wisconsin, Virginia, Durham, North Carolina, Los Angeles, Montreal, Edmonton, Manitoba. Wow, a lot of folks from Canada. Welcome, Surrey, England. Love it. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to get started in just a minute. I want to just double check. Looks like we're good on Facebook. I've got a confirmation that we can see, everybody can see me on Facebook. Is that right? And also on Instagram. And I don't have anything from you. Oh, and YouTube also. Excellent. So I'm hoping everybody can see and hear, and wonderful. So I'm so excited to be with you today. If you don't know me, I'm Dr. Laura Markham. I have spent my professional life working with parents. And the reason I do this is that the job of parenting is the hardest job in the world. And it is also, to me, the most important, because the children we raise in our homes every day are the children, going to become the adults who will populate our world. And as Charles Razon says, if we parent differently, we can change the brains of an entire generation. And with that, the world. So I'm so excited that you're joining me today to talk about this very hard job of parenting. And I am going to share my screen with you here because I promised to tell you the secrets of how you can become a more peaceful parent in 2024. I love the new opportunity that we're given every year to line ourselves up with our highest intentions. And I love the opportunity to talk to you about some very simple things that you can start doing right away in your home to show up as the parent you want to be. So let me share my screen with you here. And let's start by, I'd like to actually address the question of what is a peaceful parent, because in prepping for this conversation with you, so many parents wrote to me and said, I could never be a peaceful parent. You should see my house. Everything's a mess. Everything is crazy. And I understand that peaceful often sounds like you're like on some mountaintop doing your Zen thing, but that's not what I mean by peaceful parenting. If you live with children, you will not have a peaceful home. Let me go back here for a second. So I want to talk to you about what it actually means to be a peaceful parent. But before I do that, I want to say that I have a little handout for you today, a printable 10 simple ways to improve your parenting, no resolutions necessary. It's basically a cheat sheet on some simple things you can do starting today to make a difference. And I want you to have that because at the end of our conversation today, hopefully you'll have made some notes, you'll have had some aha moments, but now you'll also have something that you can, get in your inbox and you can print out and you can put it on your fridge and you can read it on a daily basis. We all know that we need that kind of inspiration and reinforcement to change our ingrained habits. So here's it's MailChimp, but you'll notice there's a little dot after the I there, /aha parenting /10 secrets cheat sheet. I'm sorry, that's not a simpler URL, but hopefully people can put, I do have my team on the various social media, and hopefully they can put that link into the chat so that you can see that URL, because it's a long URL to type otherwise. I'm going to ask, there we go. I see Candace put it up. Thank you, Candace. And I'm hoping that you can all see it on whatever social media feed you're on so that you can get that, your free gift here. Okay, so let's go back to this. Oh, I'm sorry, before we can go back to peaceful parenting, I want to say there's one other thing that we decided to do today that is very exciting to me. We're going to pick one lucky winner at the end of this conversation, so in the next hour, who will receive a free ticket to the Peaceful Parent Happy Kids online course that starts in 2 weeks. So this is very exciting because um, this is something that can really change your life. And you get a free copy of my book and you get so much support. And we're going to just pick one person. It'll be completely random based on, just picking a name out of the people who are commenting. And if you're running out of things to comment on, tell me one thing that you would like to change in your family this year. Put that in the comments. I would love to see that. But anyway, that may get you to be our one lucky winner if you haven't already taken the Peaceful Parent Happy Kids online course. Now, let's go back to our topic for today. What is a peaceful parent? What does that even mean? Peace does not mean you're in a place where there's no noise, there's no hard work, there's no big emotions. Peace means you can be in those places, like your home, and you're still able to be calm in your heart. That's a tall order, I'm aware, and that's why we're talking today. Peaceful parenting means you're being present, you're being mindful, you're making conscious choices rather than just passing on the automatic parenting that you probably received. I'm going to tell you today some specifics about what that means, but it is science backed. It's all based in research. And it's also heart based, it's heart driven. So it's all about self compassion for you. There's no shame, there's no not good enough. We are all doing our best, and we all are um, interrupting the cycle of whatever happened to us as children. And maybe you had the best childhood ever and you want to pass those things on. Wonderful. It's about being conscious in what we decide to pass on. So you can still be a peaceful parent even when your kids act like kids, and your kids will act like kids. They will. It would be great if they would always do what you told them, if they would always behave themselves in public, if they would stop doing what they're not supposed to do when you tell them to stop, if they would let you sleep late in the morning on a weekend. But kids, they're children. That's their job description, is to experiment and to learn, which means making mistakes. And they're not born knowing how to manage their emotions. They have very little impulse control. They don't have a mature prefrontal cortex yet. That happens in the mid-20s. And they have a lot more energy than we do. So you can expect kids to act like kids. That's not going to be keeping us from being peaceful, though. Because even when our home is messy and noisy and exuberant and full of learning, which includes mistakes, full of life, right? Even when that happens, it can still be peaceful if we are peaceful. We make the weather in our home. I know that sounds like a lot of responsibility, but it's also a lot of power. It gives us the power to make the difference, to create the home we want to have. So, how do you do this? It's an inside job. Peace is an inside job. And to do that, you can't be running on empty. You have to take care of you. This is why I talk so much in my newsletters. I send out a newsletter every week, sometimes twice a week. And so often in the newsletters, I'm dealing with the question of how can you find the inner resources so you're not so overwhelmed, so you're able to stay patient with your child. That's the number one parenting resolution of parents every year, is to be more patient. How can you find that patience and those inner resources inside you? It's all about taking care of you. And there are very specific practices that I teach in the newsletters, on the website, in my books, and in my online course. Another thing that's really important is we have to do the hard work on ourselves to unpack our own emotional baggage, to heal our own triggers. Because if we don't, we will get triggered and we will dump our baggage on our kids. And how do we do this? Well, this is sort of a spoiler alert because you came because you wanted to know how to be a more peaceful parent. It's obviously a big topic, but the most important thing you can do is to give yourself enough support. It doesn't work to shame yourself. It doesn't work to blame yourself. Crying yourself to sleep at night is not going to help. What works, just like for your kids to be better, what works is to give yourself support. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Peace is an ongoing balancing act. Things will get out of whack. They will go down the wrong track. And our job as the parent is to bring ourselves back to center, calm ourselves so we can restore peace, right? First step is always calming ourselves. Then we reconnect with our kids, and then we coach our kids. And that's what we're going to talk about today is those three big ideas. It starts with you, your connection with your child. This is a relationship based approach. And coaching is the tool you're going to use, or it gives you all the tools that you need. So we're going to talk about those three things because that's what the research says works. You can go into any bookstore in any country you're in, and you will find shelves of books on parenting. And some of them will have great ideas, and some of them will have, honestly, terrible ideas that have no basis in research. But what makes this approach credible? What makes it worth your trying it? What makes it true? What makes it work? What makes it work is that it's based in the research. Research shows that the most important thing that parents can do to raise a child who is healthy emotionally and resilient is these things: regulate themselves so they can show up as a patient responsive parent, connect with their child. That's what patience and responsiveness are doing. It's about the connection. This is not a set of strategies. It's a relationship. So it's all about the sweet, strong bond we build with our kids. And finally, coaching. And you can't coach unless you regulate yourself and you're fully present. And I know I keep referring to coaching, but I'm going to tell you some real specifics about what coaching means and what you can do to be a parenting coach who raises happy, thriving, resilient kids. So these are the three big ideas. Let's talk a little bit more about calming yourself, because that is the key to everything else, the foundation. You're being a, quote, peaceful parent, finding peace in your heart, noticing what's happening in a mindful way, returning yourself to calm. That's what gives you the inner resource to connect with your child and to coach. So let's give you a few more tools to be able to calm yourself. But first of all, why? Why do I harp on this? Why does this matter so much? It's because you're the role model. We're the role models for our children. When we yell, you know what the research shows happens to kids? They become yellers. They yell at you. They yell at each other. If they have a sibling, they yell at their friends. They yell at their partner eventually. They yell at their own kids eventually. They also don't feel as close to us. It erodes. Imagine if you were in a relationship with somebody who you're in this daily important relationship with someone you depend on, and they yell at you a lot. How would you respond? It would make you feel less close to them. It would erode the trust. Now, I don't mean to scare you. I think there's not a parent in the world who hasn't yelled at their child sometime. That's okay. Kids can recover from that. They learn a lot from that repair where you apologize and you say, I was so upset. You don't deserve to be yelled at. I want to hear what you had to say. Let's take a deep breath. Let's have a do-over. That's a repair. Kids learn a lot from that. But if you're yelling every day, that's not good for your kids. And you know it's not good for your kids. And I'm not here to shame you. Don't shame yourself. The answer isn't to beat yourself up. The answer is to give yourself more support, because we can only parent from the resources we have inside. So if you're right now yelling at your child, I've worked with many thousands of families, and I have never seen this approach fail to support parents to stop shouting at their kids. Even if you're not using as respectful a voice as you'd like to sometimes, a less respectful voice, your child is less close to you. They're therefore less cooperative, and they don't respect you as much. So even being a little less respectful, if you can take that up a notch and add a little more respect, you'll see your child change, and you'll be so happy that you did it. The other reason to self-regulate for us is our children's actual brains take shape in relationship to us. That connection with us changes, not just changes, shapes their entire neurology. So, what neuroscience is now telling us is that babies' brains are born pretty unfinished. And as we interact with the baby, and this is a baby in this picture, but this continues even as kids get older, even when they're teenagers, their brain is still taking shape. So don't give up if your kid is a teenager. It's not too late to have an impact on how their brain is being shaped. There's an enormous amount of brain growth, even in the teen years and even into the early adult years. So when we are calmer parents, guess what happens to our kids? They have better vagal tone, which means that's the vagus nerve. It just means they recover more quickly when they get upset. So they start to get upset and they can stop themselves. They get very upset, something big happens, they can recoup faster. Their amygdala, these two little almond-shaped parts of the brain that say, alarm, alarm, there's an emergency. The amygdala is actually smaller and less reactive in people who have calmer parents. The prefrontal cortex matures faster. They can think better because they're less overwhelmed by their emotions all the time. And this is one of my faves. Oxytocin receptors. Oxytocin is the feel-good hormone. And when parents are calmer, kids feel more connected to the parent. Therefore, and I'm not going to go into all the science of it, the child creates more oxytocin receptors because they're experiencing more oxytocin, and therefore the body says, oh, we need more receptors. For the rest of your child's life, your child will have more happiness and more closeness to other people because they are closer and more trusting with you. What an amazing gift we give our kids. I'm not going to say more about the brain science because I don't want to overwhelm you. I talk a lot about this in the online course, and I also talk about it in my books and on my website. But I want to circle back here to the peaceful parent you want to become, because you can't be that parent helping your child shape that calm, wonderful, healthy, resilient brain unless you take care of you. It doesn't work to beat yourself up. Why don't we all try something really radical here? Here's something you could change today that would make a big difference in your life. Start talking to yourself like someone you love. If you already do that, give yourself a big pat on the back because it's a skill that we all need to develop. We learn those inner voices in childhood, right? And sometimes we beat up on ourselves. It doesn't help. The only way for us to feel able to change is when we have encouragement. Talk to yourself like someone you love. Take care of yourself physically. The single best, beyond medications or anything else, the single best cure for a lot of feelings of anxiety or depression is exercise. And the second one is meditation. So if you take care of yourself physically and you give yourself a mindfulness practice and you talk to yourself like someone you love, your entire mood can change. If you take that a step further, you heal your triggers so you don't dump your baggage on your kids. You're not always stumbling into getting very upset, and you give yourself compassion, self-compassion. So you will mess up. We all mess up. We're human beings. We're in a state of growth. We all have growing edges. We all mess up. I certainly mess up. I would be very surprised to meet, Mother Teresa supposedly was pretty perfect, but I just have to point out to you, Mother Teresa was not a mother. She didn't have to deal with what we deal with. So self-compassion when we mess up. And the final thing you see here, give yourself support. This webinar, this live chat, great source of support. And there are many others possible sources of support, and we'll talk about some of them before the end of our conversation today. So that's all about how to calm yourself so that you can show up as the parent you want to be. But once you calm yourself, you still have to connect with your child. Now, why does that matter so much? Children cannot calm themselves down without connecting with a parent who is calm. This is the new buzzword, co-regulation. That's what it means. It means your child to develop the neural wiring to calm themselves down. They're not born with it. To develop that, they have to have an ongoing relationship with an adult who can calm themselves down. They basically borrow our neurology and they mirror it as as their brain gets shaped. There was incredible research done by Alan Shore and his team about how children's neurology is shaped by their relationship with their parent. So kids rely on us. They have to feel safe. They have to feel connected. That helps them learn to regulate their emotions. And once they can regulate their big emotions, they can regulate their behavior. Okay, so when we connect with our kids, what's the message? What's the takeaway message for the child? The parent saying to them, either explicitly or just implying, I'm right here for you. We're going to figure this out. Whatever happens, we can handle it. You've got backup. It's okay to be angry. I want to hear what you're upset about. We may limit behavior, but all emotions are allowed. You are more than good enough. I've got you. I love you no matter what. Imagine how it would feel to get those messages every day while your brain and your psychology are still taking shape. So, what are some ways you can connect with your child? Here are some of the power tools I recommend. Empathy. 24/7 is an aspiration. No one's empathic 24/7. Middle of the night, worst time. Early morning, second worst time. Bedtime, third worst time. There are a lot of times that are hard for us as parents. If we do our best to show up with empathy, our kids will feel more connected to us. And that's true, especially when we need to set a limit. If we can connect before we correct, our kids will stay connected and they're more likely to rise to the level of our expectation to accommodate the limit we're setting for them. Special time, one-on-one time with kids proves our love. Roughhousing and laughter. Roughhousing actually changes the neurotransmitters and the hormones circulating in the body. Laughter does that. So when you laugh with your children, you're bonding with them and you're decreasing their stress level. Time in, it's just a way to allow your child to have those feelings. You stay with them. They're having some big feelings. They feel witnessed. They feel heard. The feelings come up. The feelings get out. Just like we feel after a good cry. Now they can learn. So I went through those 5 power tools pretty quickly, but those are ways that you can stay connected with your child and help your child thrive. I talk about these 5 tools all the time. In the online course, I give you we apply them to your family and you get help on how to use them with your family. But you can also just look them up on the website. And in the course, we troubleshoot. If you've tried special time before and you've had a hard time, for instance, we troubleshoot and I help you through how to make that work for you. So that's connecting with your child. Now I want to stop and take a breath because I know this is a lot. I'm throwing a lot at you because this is short. I know you're a busy parent and we don't have time today that we could spend hours covering this material. But I want to tell you, even if it sounds like a lot, I can take you step by step through these tools and you can learn how to make them work in your family. I've been working with parents, thousands and thousands of families for over 20 something years, many years, and I have never seen these tools fail. And I want you to have the benefit of them. Whether this is the right time for you to take my online course or not, I have a free newsletter. Just sign up for it. 130,000 people get this newsletter every week. They seem to really like it. So the point is, this doesn't have to be, if you're not ready to buy the course because it's not the right time for you, understood. You can still get the free resources to support yourself. And if you want more, personalized hand-holding to make this work in your family, then we've got that too. So the third thing, coaching your child. What does that even mean, coaching? It means you give your child support so that they can meet your expectations. Parents often say to me, well, but how do I get him to do what I want? And the answer is not you threaten him, not you punish him. The answer is you give him the support so he can rise to the occasion. That support is you calm yourself down. He's more likely to cooperate. You connect. He's even more likely to cooperate when he feels understood. And then you help him to succeed by helping him with his emotions, by setting up an environment where he can thrive. Basically, you do the preventive maintenance, the things we just looked at that are the power tools for connection. If you give your child support, they will meet your expectations. And honestly, if they can't, if you really work at the support, there was one interchange where, can you give your child enough support that they can play at Carnegie Hall? Well, most kids can't play their musical instrument at Carnegie Hall. They're just not good enough when they're 10 or 12 years old. There's no amount of support you can give them that's going to be enough. That's not a reasonable expectation, maybe, unless you happen to have a unique child in that way. We all have unique children. So your goal as a parent is not to come up with the right threat. Because we all, when we get frustrated, we're like, what can I do to control this situation, to control this child? But control doesn't work. It doesn't help your child become, through experience, the person that you want them to be. It also doesn't actually get the behavior you want because you have to keep escalating your threats. Coaching does, because it helps kids meet your expectation by helping them with the needs and the big feelings that drive behavior. So let's talk a little bit more about emotion coaching, which is something you'll always hear me talk about, one of the most important kinds of coaching we do with kids. Emotion coaching just means you accept the emotion, you validate it. You don't have to agree with them. They can be angry at their sibling without you agreeing that their sibling should never have been born, right? But you can validate that they're angry. They're allowed to be angry, right? So emotion coaching, we accept the feeling, we validate that they feel this way. It's okay to feel this way. We may limit the behavior. They're not allowed to say unkind things to their sib, but they're allowed to have the feeling. That's emotion coaching. And then once they settle down, once they've expressed it and they have gotten past it, we may help the child to problem solve. Maybe we problem solve with them what they're going to do to make things better with the sibling. Maybe we give them support to solve their problem, right? Or their altercation with their friend, or their problem they're having with the teacher, whatever they were upset about. But emotion coaching turns out to be one of the most important things we can do for our children. We don't shame them for their emotions. We don't send them to their room when they're angry. We listen, we help them calm down, and then we say, I see how angry you were about this when you thought I was being unfair. You're saying this later, after they've settled down. You were pretty angry when you told me you wanted a new mom and you hated me. Those were strong words. And by now your kid is saying, I didn't mean that, Mom. But regardless of what they say, you say, I know you didn't mean it, sweetheart. I know you were trying to tell me the worst thing you could think of to get my attention. I want you to know you never have to resort to angry words like that to me to get my attention. I will always listen to what you have to say, and I will always try to help you. Kids don't need to get everything they want. They do need to know. They need something more important. They need to know they have a parent in their corner who is there to listen, to give them backup, who's on their side no matter what. That's what emotion coaching gives kids. And kids who are emotion coached do better on every single indicator, not just when they're kids, but for the rest of their lives. So another part of coaching, preventive maintenance, and I've mentioned most of these already: roughhousing, special time, empathy, welcoming all emotions. I haven't mentioned routines, and I'm not going to go into them now except to say they help kids feel safe. If you have a child who's neurodivergent, you already know that their neurobiology is wired to get a little more anxious than other kids. If you have a kid who's highly sensitive, that's true also. But every child can feel unsafe. And every child needs us as the parent to meet their need for safety as the basic foundation for them to thrive in life. Routines are just one of the ways we do it. Our emotional regulation is another, and their connection with us is another. So that's the kind of preventive maintenance that kids need. When you're doing coaching, you're not just doing emotion coaching, you're also setting up the environment so your child can thrive. And the environment are the habits that you bring to your life with your child. So How can you do this? We're circling back again to how you can become that peaceful parent who's able to show up with your child to be the parent you want to be. And that is, you need to take care of you. Routines will help you so you don't get overwhelmed. Even if you have ADHD, even if you're, I don't know, one of those creative types who really does not like to be in a routine, you will find that having some routine will help kids not to have to negotiate every point with you, but to actually go with the flow and get used to doing certain things in a certain order. Don't do something that doesn't feel good to you, but find routines that work for you. Sleep, we all know when we're not rested, we can't be the parents we want to be. Movement, we've already talked about how exercise is so important. Self-compassion, we've talked about. Repair, we've talked about, because repair, I mentioned how good it is for your child, but when you repair with your child, guess what happens for you? You get rid of the shame, because we all know that when we lose it with our kids and we're regretful and remorseful, we feel ashamed of ourselves. That isn't how we wanted to show up. Shame is not useful as a motivator. When we feel worse, we do worse. Repairing with our child allows us to ditch the shame. It allows us to feel better about how we show up as parents, to be that more connected, joyful, confident parent. So repair is important. Mindfulness just means don't react. Stop, drop, and breathe. One of the basic tools of peaceful parenting. Stop, drop your agenda, take a breath. Mindfulness is noticing what's going on. You're not even trying to change it necessarily, but instead of automatically reacting, we bring more awareness. When you shine the light of conscious awareness on your own internal landscape, which is one of the things I teach you to do, when you do that, you have a choice of how to act, and you can make a conscious choice to show up differently. And how do we do all that? We give ourselves support. So, one thing that is support is this live chat we're having now. Another thing that's support is my newsletter, which I mentioned to you. But I want to talk a little bit about my online course, because that's the biggest bang for the buck when you're trying to give yourself the support you need to make the changes you want to make. So I want to ask you, you know, the online course is sort of the ultimate toolkit for the tools you need to parent well. But you already know from this conversation with me today, and probably from before you had this conversation with me today, you already know one thing you could do differently today. Let's start there. Write in the chat, in the comment section, one thing that you would like to do differently starting today. And we're going to talk about how to get you there. So, the Peaceful Parent Happy Kids online course is everything I know about parenting in one course. You can't fit it all in one book. That's why I have 3 books. And a lot of it's on the website, but the website's been written over many years and it has 1,000 articles. So while you can find a lot of good things on it, you have to navigate it yourself to find what you need to learn. The online course, I said, okay, how can a parent learn what they most need to learn? What order do they need to learn it in? And this is how you can learn the things you most need to learn. How to stop yelling and start connecting. How to help your child want to cooperate. No more yelling, no more bribes, no more threats and punishment. How can you raise a child who's emotionally healthy and resilient? How can you know, in the end, your child will grow up. We want you to have a great relationship with your child when they're grown up. I have young adult kids, so I can tell you how rewarding it is to have that relationship with your children. But there's another thing I can tell you. These years when kids are young, they pass so quickly. I know everyone says that, and I know the days are long, but they do pass. And in the end, we're still us. Use this time with your child while your buttons are getting pushed to notice those buttons and deinstall them. Notice this time when you have to forgive yourself over and over again for the mistakes you make with your child. Use this time to learn to treat yourself with more compassion, more love, because you come out of this not just a better parent, but a happier human being who has a better life for the rest of your life as well. because you take the time now to heal your own triggers. So the online course, don't just take my word for it. There you can see some comments that people make. This is one of my favorite things about the course. At the end of every course, I get to read the evaluations people write. And the things they write, honestly, they move me to tears every time because they say things like, this helped me more than years of therapy. Or I didn't believe my relationship with my child could ever turn around, and this turned it around. And you can see some of the comments here. You can go on to the URL for the course, which you can please, my team members, go ahead and post the URL in the comment section in our various feeds so people can see that. But you can see videos of people talking about their experience with the course, and you can see, just some snippets from their evaluations. I hope if you've taken the course, you'll also share right now in the comments how the course worked for you, what you got out of it, and what your experience was of it. Because I think, we're changing the world one family at a time by supporting parents. So the course gives you, what I hear from people who take it is that it's an amazing change in their lives. And I want you to know you can sign up for it later. You have a few days to sign up for it. But if you decide right now that you want to enroll in the course, when you enroll, anyone who enrolls in the course during this live chat, I'm going to send them my latest ebook. This is a book that will give you a head start on healing your relationship with yourself and healing your inner child. All of this you get in the course, but this is a very special ebook. It's 100 pages. It's a workbook. It's our newest offering, and I'm very proud of it. And it will give you a head start even before the course begins in healing your ability to love yourself unconditionally, which of course is what allows you to love your child unconditionally. So there's this is just the URL for the course that you can see here. And when you register, if you register for the course during this webinar, this online chat, I will send you a copy of the book in the next 2 days. So here's what you learn every week in the course. The course, by the way, starts in 2 weeks from today. And here's what you learn. You learn how to regulate your own emotions. You learn how to connect with your child, all the things we've been talking about, emotional intelligence, how to handle discipline, how to get your kids to want to cooperate with you, the preventive maintenance tools we've talked about, what to do in the transition. Like sometimes both partners are not on the same page. We give you the tools to deal with that, how to take care of you, how to help your child develop self-discipline, mastery, grit, resilience, how to heal your own triggers, how to deal with sibling fights, and how to put all that together. That's just week by week. It's a 12-week course, as you can hear. It's basically a parenting boot camp. It's the most fun boot camp you'll ever find yourself part of. And I give you a free copy of my book because the text in the course is Peaceful Parent, Happy Kids. If you've already got it, no worries. You can choose the sibling book or the workbook instead. The workbook, you pay a small upgrade fee because it costs us more to get it to you, but you can pick a different book. And if you already have 3 books, all 3 of them, then you already know what great gifts they make. So you do get a free book with the course. And you also, of course, get the weekly topics that we just talked about. There's a lecture that's an hour. It's not more than an hour because I know how busy you are. But there's also other content every week to help you stay on track and to help you understand the material. And I give you the top, what are the top takeaways from the lecture? And I give you a transcript with the lecture. And by the way, on this link, this page, Peaceful Parenting Course, you can see a sneak peek preview after we're done talking today. You could go, and I take you behind the scenes so you can see some of what I'm talking about here. You can also see the value for the course is pretty high, given that you're getting the free book and you're getting these modules. But I also give you a special bonus in week 12. You can choose from my library these are years worth of answers to the most common questions that parents ask about 60 different topics. What if you want to ask about grandparents or school or peer relationships or potty training or food or discipline or siblings, whatever you ask, it's there. I guarantee you in those 60 topics. You pick two of these that you want. They're 2 hours long each. So you get these 4 hours of audio of me answering the most common questions that parents ask. Parents tell me that they sign up for the course just for this because they don't really understand the value of the other things, but they understand the value of being able to get their question answered. And this is my favorite part of the course, the daily meditations. They are only 5 minutes long. You can only get them in the course. There are 5 every week during the 12 weeks, and they are designed to rewire your brain. And I guarantee you, you will feel it happening as you go into a meditational state. Even if you've never meditated, I help you. It's easy to just sit there and be open to it. And there's so many, they build on each other. There's so many different parts of it. It's all about connecting with you and working through anything that's getting in the way of your connection with your child. It's a beautiful sequence, the daily meditations. And this is the only time you can get access to it is through the course. There are also bonuses. One of the bonuses is a 5 audio set, so more than 5 hours of audio of how to co-parent with a parenting partner. It's called Happily Ever After. It's got things like how to stay close to your partner, how to work through conflict, how to handle disagreements when one of you thinks you should be handling things with the kids one way and one another way. That's just one of the many bonuses in the course. So the bonuses you can see, the value of the bonuses, that's just what they sell for on the AHA Parenting website. So they probably should be sold at a higher price, but they're just included as bonuses in this course. And of course, every week you have the choice of doing some journal prompts because research shows that when you write, your observing ego gets in on the action and you learn more. So I give you journal prompts. I give you exercises to do with your child in real life. So those are part of this. We're valuing them at $99 because we don't sell them anywhere else. But you know what? They're worth a lot more than that because you're getting 12 weeks of them, including at the end a plan for how you're going to take the things you've learned forward every week so that you can make this an ongoing part of your life after the 12 weeks is over. And finally, you get a private Facebook group, and that Facebook group has in it people I've been teaching this course for a long time, for years now. People who took my very first course are still in the group, and they are pros at this kind of parenting by now. And any question you have about working this out with your child, your unique child who is unique, somebody on that group is going to have a great answer for you. And there are also moderators and administrators who are coaches who I have trained and supervised. So you get real support and handholding every step of the way. And you can use this group for the rest of your life because this group is not going anywhere. And in fact, the course is not going anywhere. You get lifetime access to the course and lifetime access to the Facebook group. So it will be there for you long after your child is grown up. And by then, you'll be one of the wise elders of the group. I don't mean in age, but in experience where you'll get it's such a rewarding feeling to be able to say to somebody, oh, I understand that you just started the course and your child is acting out. The 3-year-olds, your child's going to change within a couple of weeks. It's going to be so fast. But it's true that the 8-year-olds and the 9-year-olds, they take longer to change. They have years of a certain kind of experience with you, but they change too. We see them change. And even the 13 and 14-year-olds, the course is really meant for people with kids 13 and under, but many people who take the course have teenagers and say it really helps because these ideas are universal. They help you regulate you and show up for your 15-year-old in the way you want to show up. But what we see is the teenagers take a longer time to change, but the parents can repeat the course over and over. They're in there in that group, Facebook group, and they're talking about how it took them 2 courses for their teen to start changing, but they see the results. That's what we love about working on this course is that we get to see parents go through this amazing transformation with their families. And it's so rewarding for the people who have done it themselves and are now supporting other people. And it's something that honestly, you can count on it. I have to say, it's a lot of work, but I've never seen it fail. Now, you're probably looking at this red line at the bottom, $4,700. I can't afford that. And don't worry, I'm not going to ask you to pay for that. But let me ask you, what would it be worth to you? What would it be worth to you if your child was finally willing to listen and cooperate without a big fuss? What would it be worth if you could be calm and empathic when things get challenging at home? What would it be worth to you to have a really joyful family home? How much would you pay to feel confident in your parenting and to have a happy, resilient child with whom you felt really connected? These are more evaluations of, you don't have to take my word for it, of what this course does for people. But I want to tell you that you don't even have to take their word for it. We have a guarantee. It's my no risk personal guarantee to you. The course is 3 months long. Take it for the first month. If you don't feel like if you're not thrilled with what you're getting out of it, I would be very surprised. And if you're not thrilled, just shoot us an email and the link is there. It's easy to find the place to write. Shoot us an email anytime in that first month saying that you would like a refund, and we will refund your money, no questions asked. If you have the book, you can keep the book, and we'll take a small amount out for the book. No risk guarantee. And remember, a month is the first third of the course. You've already taken a third of the course. And I guarantee you that first month, it's enough to change your life. So this guarantee is true for anybody who takes the course. So there's really there's no drawback to signing up for it. You can sign up and you can get the refund. And the price of the course is only $167, which I say only. I understand that's a big chunk of change, but I want you to again think, what would it be worth it to me to have the home life I want? And think about everything that you're getting with the course. So again, if you sign up during this webinar, you get this ebook, the 100-page ebook to do your own inner child work on loving yourself and it's also about loving your child, healing your ability to love, if you sign up during this. And I want to just say, sometimes people go to the checkout page and they get a little confused because I'm asking you to tell me why you're taking it. But it's very helpful to you and also to me to make sure you get the most out of it if you tell me why you're taking the course. So in the beginning of the checkout page, you get a list of everything you get. We've already gone over that. And you get something that says, please just check off the things that are most important to you that you want to get out of the course. And I'll ask you where you live, and I will get your book ready to send to you. And that's all it takes to sign up. So I want to hear your questions. I'm very excited about answering your questions. It's one of the things I love best about working with parents. But before we do that, I would like to pick the winner of the online course. And I need to ask my team, to just answer people's questions on here for a moment. I just saw one thing here. Somebody's saying that they live in another country. Their currency isn't anything like the US currency. Are there any discounts? The answer is we have scholarships. Our deadline actually closed, but our team has talked about it, and we're going to extend the scholarship deadline. If you are in financial hardship and you cannot afford this, either because you live in a country where currency is different or for whatever reason, just send a note to administrator at ahaparenting.com. That's our administrator, Beth, and she handles the scholarships. And if you send her a note and say, I'd like to apply for a scholarship, she will guide you through the process. It's very quick and easy. And we have never turned anybody away. They're partial scholarships, but we've never turned anyone away. And you do still get your book, of course. So if you need a scholarship, don't let that stop you, please. So I am going to hope that my team can be answering people's questions. And I am going to just do our drawing. I haven't had a chance to look in here at all, but I'm looking at all of the feeds so that I can see. Um, and I am going to say that the winner of the online course is Esther Lee. Esther Lee, Lee. So Esther, if you're still here with us, I see your last note was at 1:36 p.m. If you're still here with us, you are the winner of the online course. You get a free ticket, you get your book for free, you get everything that we've talked about today. And if you're here, please put a note, a comment in the chat so that I can see that you are here. Yes, you're here. Okay, Esther, write a note to administrator@ahaparenting.com and tell her you're the lucky winner of the course. And she'll walk you through the process of how to get you enrolled so you can participate. Congratulations. I'm so glad. And I want to ask other people who have already taken the course, please tell us what you got out of it. And if you're registering right now so that you can get your hands on the ebook, please let us know that you registered so that we can congratulate you as well. And I want to start while we're doing that, I want to start answering some questions. If you're one question that I saw here is, this won't work for me. It's too hard. I can't do this. And I want to say that if that's you, that this course is made for you. It's made for you because we walk you through it. You know, this is a unique course. I've been doing this for a very long time, and I've studied brain development and how the brain changes. We give you rewiring practices so that you can actually rewire your brain. And if you've tried other things that haven't worked, you haven't tried rewiring your brain with something specifically designed to do that. You probably haven't tried self-compassion meditations, which I give you. You probably haven't met our coaches who I've trained. We have a brain trust, as I said, of parenting coaches and also just ordinary parents like you, but who've done this for years and who've gotten really good at it. So this has all been proven to foster significant change. And I think, and besides, there's no risk. If you sign up for this and you say after 3 or 4 weeks it doesn't work for you, you'll be, honestly, every course we get 1 or 2 people who ask for a refund. That's it, out of all the people who register. And often it's things like, I realized that we need to get special support for our family. We're going to be going into couples counseling, something like that. And they're redirecting themselves, right? They've realized it's not just about parenting. Often that's a reason that people will cancel. So if this isn't the right thing for you at this time, no, that's great. That's fine. I'll be here for you later. But if you want to change things now in your family, what's going to change if you don't? And what I'm saying to you is, I've been there. I'll be your Sherpa, your guide, and take you step by step through the changes, because nothing changes until you do. All right, here's another question. I've struggled with my daughter her whole life. How can I fix this in 12 weeks? So you might have a challenging child. Plenty of kids, people who have easy kids don't understand this, but I talk to the parents with the challenging kids. There are many parents who have challenging kids. And if you do conventional parenting, it really doesn't work for those kids. So I'm saying that if you learn how to change you, you're not even changing her to start. You're changing you and how you show up. She will end up changing. I guarantee you. And remember, you're getting ongoing support. It doesn't expire. You can do this as long as you need to. But when you have challenging kids, that's exactly why you need this kind of support, because conventional parenting doesn't work. Kids who are challenging need you to be calm. Kids who are challenging need you to connect with them. Kids who are challenging need the kind of coaching that meets their unmet needs and their big feelings so that they can learn to control their behavior. So it doesn't, if you have a really challenging child, the older they are, the more I'll be honest with you. If you've got a challenging 11-year-old, it's not going to change in the 12 weeks of the course. But what will change is you, and your relationship with your child will get a lot stronger, and you'll learn how to coach your child. You'll see change for sure in the 12 weeks, but you'll continue to see change after the course ends. And remember, we don't leave you high and dry. You can stay in the course. You can repeat it for free. It's offered 3 times a year, but you have ongoing access 24/7 to all the modules you used in the course and to the Facebook group to give you support. And here's another thing you may or may not know. After the course ends, you're a course graduate, you have the privilege of joining my membership. I don't usually talk about the membership publicly because people in the public can't join it. You can only join the membership if you've taken the course and you graduated from the course. The membership allows you to come to my office hours once a month and ask me questions, like just like we're doing right now, except you get to unmute yourself and use your own voice, and I get to see your picture, and you get to ask me your question. That's part of our membership. There's lots more in the membership that's great. And I'm not going to talk to you about the membership now if you haven't taken the course. But I'm saying that if you struggled, you're saying you struggled with your daughter her whole life. Understood. She is still going to have challenges at the end of 12 weeks. What's going to be different is you. And what's going to be different is the support you're getting. And what's going to be different is the relationship with her will have started to change. And what's going to be different is you're going to have me on the other end of the line to ask me questions. So much is going to be different in the 12 weeks that you're going to keep changing. She's going to keep changing. And, one foot in front of the other, pretty soon you're in a whole new landscape. So here's a question about partners. My partner's not on board. What do I do? So here's the good news. Peaceful parenting works even if your partner isn't on board initially. Your own changes will inspire your partner. Your own changes will make things better with your kids. I've talked to so many people who've said things to me like, her kids were fighting and her husband was yelling at them. And she walked into the room and she said, wow, a lot of loud voices. Everybody's pretty upset in here. And her husband stormed out of the room. And she settled things down with her kids using the things she'd learned in the course. And she walked into the kitchen where her husband was, and he looked at her and he said, I heard every word. I want to learn to do that. And that's the thing. You will demonstrate how to do this work. And your partner, I guarantee you, is going to want to get on board. We all want the same things. Even if you and your partner disagree about how to do it, we all want our kids to be happy, to thrive, to be resilient, to be well-behaved, to cooperate with us. This works better than, there are probably some kids who are so low-key that you can parent them conventionally and they'll come out more or less okay. But even those kids will go through a rocky patch in adolescence usually. And also they won't be as close to you for the rest of their lives. This kind of parenting, kids stay close to their parents while they still develop their own autonomy. This kind of parenting works even for kids who are going to rebel because they're so strong-willed against conventional parenting, who are too sensitive for conventional parenting and become more anxious with it, for kids who are neurodivergent and need a different kind of connection from you. So if you have a spouse who's not on board or a partner, sometimes I saw a note here like, I can't spend the money if my partner's not on board. I understand. Sometimes it can be hard if they're not on board for them to want you to spend the money. But you might bring up, we just had the holidays. What did your family spend on holiday presents? And this investment in the course means investing in a closer family dynamic, a more peaceful home, less time disciplining for you and your partner, less sibling squabbling. What is that worth to you to have a family where there's more of a sense of well-being? I think even a partner who's not sure they're on board with this, they might be willing to gamble with this, especially when you're talking about a 1-month gamble and they're going to see the results. And by the way, your partner, of course, is free in the course once you register. They are part of it also. So you can share everything with them in the course. And many times partners, I've just heard firsthand, all over and over that partners who are resistant realize they start to see the difference and they realize that this is what they actually needed in their family. So I see here somebody who has struggled to complete online courses in the past. I just want to say this is bite-sized nuggets. It's week by week. I'm not hitting you with everything at once, which would be overwhelming and you'd want to run in the other direction. No, every week you get an email from me. It says to you, this is what's going on this week. Here's the link. You go to the link. It's very easy to download the audio. You get to keep the audio forever and you can access it on the website, the portal, but you also can just keep it. You can listen to it while you're running, while you're cooking, while you're driving your car. It's very easy to do that. You can pick up where you left off last time. There's a transcript that you can underline or whatever you want to do later to when you finish listening or while you're listening. This is accessible content. I give you a lot of examples. You get to hear my tone of voice as I talk to the child. If no one talked to you in that loving tone of voice when you were a child, it might be harder for you to access it. But after you listen to me week after week, use that tone of voice. Wow, you were pretty upset about that, right? This will become second nature to you. You'll develop that tone of voice yourself. So this is accessible content that step by step you're going to learn to put into place. And you'll have my guidance also every step of the way. So I guess I would just say this is about, it's not just an investment in a learning opportunity. This is an investment in transformation for yourself and your child that is transformation that will go on for a lot longer than 12 weeks. So I'm hoping that you can ask any other questions that I haven't gotten to here. And I know that people are answering, that my team is answering questions about things, but I'm just going to quickly say the course starts Thursday, January 25th. It is applicable for caregivers who are grandparents or daycare daycare providers or primary caregivers, even if you're not the parent. If you live in the same household, you can, with your nanny or your caregiver or your partner or your grandparent, you can share this with them. And so this is what you get every week that I told you. Remember, if you can't get to it that week, it's fine. It's still there online. You have access to it. You have lifetime access. So it's okay to skip a week when you have a busy week. But basically what each week consists of is the hour-long lecture and the reading for the week, which is in the book. Occasionally there's other reading articles that I'll give you. And the 5 daily meditations that are 5 minutes long. And then you have bonuses that you can use. And I always give you other bonuses, like a list of other books that will be helpful to you that I might refer to in the lecture or whatever. So parents who take this course go back to it over and over and over again because they find that there's more that maybe you didn't get to the bonus books the first time around, the bonus suggestions or even the bonus audios that I give you. But, you do it the next time around, you'll get more out of it. It is a self-paced course, so you're not getting overwhelmed. You can always take it at your own pace. People often write to me and say, I didn't fill out my evaluation because I'm still finishing the course. And then 3 months later, so that's 6 months altogether. 6 months altogether. They'll write me and say, I finished the course and I want to do my evaluation. I've just completed it. And I want you to know this changed my life. So if it takes you 6 months, that's common. That's fine to do. Many people do it in the 3 months, but then they go back over and over again to it. So some people spend 3 hours a week on it. Some people spend the 1 hour on the lecture and then they listen to the 5 little meditations and they don't even do the homework, but then they go back to it and do it later. What really matters is that you are doing the work to change yourself and you need inspiration to do that. So what's helpful is that I give you a way to every single week get re-inspired so that you can change how you are showing up. So I'm going to just look and see if there are any last questions we should answer. I know we're at the end of the hour and a lot of people have to leave. So I want to say before I go into more questions, I want to say that every parent struggles. If you came today and you were feeling like you were struggling, you're not alone. Every parent struggles. And if you came today just wanting some inspiration for the new year, yes, I love it. That's what I'm here to offer you, whether you're struggling or you just need some inspiration. Um, and if you have ever felt like this stuff is just too hard, parenting is hard. If you struggle, you're not the problem. Don't ever feel like you're the problem. Even when you blow it and yell at your kids or whatever you did, you're not the problem. The problem is that parenting is hard and we don't have enough support. Our culture does not give parents very much support. We don't live in villages with extended family anymore, many of us, most of us. We need more support in order to do this very hard work. So, the secret to becoming the parent you want to be is giving yourself that support. And I look forward to working with you, to helping you become the parent you want to be by giving you the support you need. Thank you so much for joining me today for this chat. I know it was a lot. I'm going to send this recording out to everyone who registered. So whether you came live or whether you come later, you'll get a copy of it. It's yours to keep. You can, look at these slides to inspire yourself. If you forget what I've said about something, you can listen to it. And I urge you, if you haven't taken the online course, to consider whether it's a good thing for your family at this point. And if so, I look forward to seeing you in the course. But regardless, thank you for the hard work you do in your home every single day. You're changing the world by showing up as the parent you most want to be with your child. I am sending you every blessing and hopes for a really happy and peaceful 2024 for you and your family. Thank you. So that's the official end of our live chat today, because I know some people have to leave. But I do, and thank you so much for coming. And I do, if you have questions that weren't answered, please go ahead and put them in the chat, and I will make sure that your question gets answered. And if you have to leave, we can look at it later. I'm just seeing the answer about scholarships. Thank you. Yep, we do still have we've expanded our deadline to offer scholarships, and I see some people are registering for the course right now. I'm delighted. I so look forward to seeing you in the course, and we'll be sending you the e-workbook, the Healing Your Ability to Love Unconditionally, if you're enrolling in the course during the time of this webinar. JD is asking, do you have an audio book? Do you have a hard copy book? Yes, I have 3 books out, and I am not sure. I think they're right here, and I can show you what they look like. Those are the 3 books: Peaceful Parent, Happy Kids, Peaceful Parent, Happy Siblings, and the Peaceful Parent, Happy Kids workbook. If you're in the United States, they're easy to find. You can go into any bookstore and you can, of course, order them online. If you live in another country, they're in, I think, Peaceful Parent, Happy Kids is in 20 languages now. The sibling book is in maybe 12 or 15. The workbook's in maybe 6 or 8. So they're becoming more, you can find them more all over the world. And if you have a hard time finding it in whatever country you're in, let me know. When the publishers hear there's a demand, then the publisher, like for instance, we now have a publisher who's going to publish it in Arabic. I was so thrilled to get that news recently. So they are getting published in languages all over the world. And so those are the hard copy books. There's an audio book of me reading Peaceful Parent, Happy Siblings, and the audiobook of the workbook is going to be out soon. Again, that's me reading it. Somebody else who's quite lovely, I really like her voice, does the first book. I wasn't offered to do that when I first started out. They said, oh, authors don't do a good job. And then after I was more established, they said, actually, we would really like you to read this. So I read the sibling book, but there's an audiobook for all 3 books. The workbook is coming soon. Other comments I just want to see here. The relevance for teenagers. Louisa, your children are 15, 13, and 9. You're absolutely right. My information is geared at kids 13 and under. However, if you found the book helpful, you would find the course more than helpful. And in fact, the book really is more specifically geared at younger kids, whereas many people in the Facebook support group have teenagers at this point. And the course, even though there are many examples of younger children, everything you learn applies to coaching teenagers. I think you should try it for a month. And then if it doesn't work for you because you got teenagers, then just let us know that. No questions asked, refund. But I will say, you've got a 9-year-old. I think you will love the course. And even for your teenagers, you should find it super helpful. Rami, Marta's asking you to cut and paste the link. And again, I want to say to anybody who's having a hard time registering for any reason, administrator@ahaparenting.com. That's Beth Peterson. And if you send an email to her saying you had a hard time registering, she will figure out how to get you registered, no matter what the block is with your browser or whatever country you're in or whatever else. We have people all over the world taking the course. So you should be able to register no matter where in the world you are. And because this is the beauty of the format, because you don't have to show up live to do anything, you can do all of the course on your own time schedule. So, yes, Emily, even though it launches 3 times a year and what happens is if you take the course right now and you want to take it again, let's say next fall, you re-register for it. It's free. And you get emails from me every week saying, okay, week 2, guess what we're talking about? And it'll remind you to go. But there's always, the course that you took is always up there. We call it the graduates course. So everybody who's ever taken the course has access to any improvements I make in the course over time. So if you've taken the course and you go on to your portal, it'll say graduates course. And any improvements I made just this last fall, and I added a new bonus actually this fall, that will be in the course. So if you took the course 3 years ago, you get that new bonus as part of the graduates course. So it's always available to you 24/7. The reason you would want to sign up to take it again is just that then you're on the list to send an email to every week saying, okay, week 5, discipline. Have you had any issues with setting effective limits? Let's get that in order. So you come back and you hone different parts of it and you get weekly messages from me about what's going to, anything that whatever we're talking about that week, but I'm just saying anything that you feel like, oh, this worked before, but it's not working so well now that my child turned 12. I'd like to know about this. You come back to the course and you will find that people tell me all the time that they get a whole new level of understanding every time they take it. And also you can drill down, like on the first time through, maybe you didn't do as much self-care. Now you're going to do the self-care unit and you're going to really drill down on it. So So Halima's saying she was fortunate to benefit from a scholarship for the course. Oh, Halima, thank you so much. So wonderful to hear. I was fortunate to benefit from a scholarship for the course as I couldn't afford it. So comprehensive and insightful with all the parts, including the audios and newsletter. Halima, I am so grateful that you wrote this. Thank you. And I'm honored that we were able to support you in your parenting. So I see Lynn just enrolled. Yay, Lynn. Thank you. I'm going to go a little bit past the book so we can see people's comments because we can't really see them with so much text on the screens. Um, let's see. Oh, I don't know if we'll be able to see them there either. But Lynn, I'm so glad that you're going to join us in the course. Thank you. That's terrific. Um, and I'm seeing people aren't sure how to get to the Facebook page. Pat, I don't think you need to get to the Facebook page. Tell me why you need to get there, and we can help you. Um, and Um, Karen's asking how to stay peaceful when she and her husband are having more problems. Oh, so this is why I put this free bonus in the course about parenting with a partner, because I heard when I first started teaching the course, it wasn't part of it, but I heard from parents over and over that they were great with their kids now, but running into problems with their partner. So I gave the free bonus. Now, this bonus, it's called Happily Ever After Conscious Co-Parenting. If you look on the AHA Parenting website, you can see that that sells for about half the price of this online course. But I decided to give it to you free in the course because I wanted you to have this tools to work things out with your partner. So I would just say, Karen, I've heard from people that this 5 audio course on conscious co-parenting kept them from getting divorced. I've heard that it helped them more than couples therapy. That's what you want to take a look at. But you get it as a free bonus in this online course. So if you're thinking of taking the course, um, just do the course and you get this as a free bonus as part of it. And it will absolutely help you to work things out with your husband as well as to stay more peaceful with your child. Because when you're fighting with your partner, we all know we're dysregulated. It's harder to stay in a calm place with our kids. So, the great thing about this approach, it works in every relationship you have, every relationship. So I actually talked to a preschool director. She bought copies of my book for each of her teachers because they're working with kids all day, every day. She said it changed the staff meetings. It was so great I went to speak at her school because they invited me, and she told me this after the talk. She said at their teacher meetings that the teachers were more empathic with each other. They were validating each other. They were able to not be so defensive. They were more able to work out conflicts because they had read my book. So the content that I'm teaching in the course is taking the book to a higher level. You get the book, but you get much more than the book. That's the whole point of the course, is that you get to drill down on these ideas. So these ideas work with everyone who is a human being, every human being. And so whether you're talking about your partner or your child or your boss or your colleague or your child's teacher, these ideas will work with anyone because they're about respect. We all want to be treated with respect. They're about connection. They're about warmth and empathy. They're about settling ourselves down so we can then solve the problem with the other person. So Lulu, you just enrolled. Can't wait. Yay. I'm so excited. I will see you in the course. So I'm just looking here to see. So I'm seeing the self-healing workbook's only available as an ebook. So Denise, there is a workbook that has a lot of self-healing in it that's available as an actual book. So I have 3 books. The Peaceful Parent Happy Kids workbook, Denise, is available on Amazon or wherever you buy your books. And it is a hard copy of the book. And the first half of the book is all about your own self-healing. So it is absolutely available in hard copy. In addition, this new e-workbook is for people who aren't going to get the hard copy of the book, but just want an ebook. It's cheaper, obviously, and it is doesn't have to be mailed to you, so you can get it all over the world. And it has a slightly different focus. The other one is about healing your triggers. And the things healing your own emotional stuff. But the workbook that is available today as a free bonus when you enroll in the course is healing your ability to love unconditionally. And basically it's looking at love. It's looking at how we withhold love from ourselves and how we can give love to ourselves and how that frees us up to better love our children. That's what it's about. The other book, the hard copy workbook, is much more comprehensive. it actually has the whole first half, as I say, is about self-healing. It's about your own triggers and your own big emotions and how to understand your emotions better and how to give yourself compassion. And then the last half of the workbook is all about setting limits with your kids and coaching your kids, emotion coaching. And it's also about about connecting with your child. So both resources are available to you. Um, the happily ever after bonus. Um, so that's a different kind of a bonus, Silky. She's asking, where can I find the happily ever after? So the happily ever after audio is a bonus in the course. You can also just go to the AHA Parenting website into the um, shop section and click on courses, and you'll see the course. It's a little audio course, 5-part audio course. Happily ever after, and you can just buy it, and as I say, it's about half the price of the Peaceful Parent Happy Kids online course. But remember, you won't get all the other things we talked about today. So if all you want to do is work on your relationship with your partner, that's a great move. If you want all of what I've talked about and that, then you probably want to just register for the course. And I am seeing so many more Denise Guzman, you're saying, can I change my order? Yes, write to administrator at ahaparenting.com and she can help you sort out your order. And we'll do whatever we need to do to get your order sorted out. Don't worry. I'm seeing a question here from Caitlin, 9-year-old strong-willed child, and he gets super mad and starts hurting. So this is great. And he just gets more angry. So I hear this all the time, that when you empathize with kids, sometimes they get more angry. Now, that's for two reasons. One can be that we are sort of analyzing them and we're not actually, if you're really empathizing, you're not analyzing as being angry. You're empathizing with the upset he feels. You are so upset about this. It sounds like you thought I wasn't being fair. You will tear up as you feel it. If you're empathizing on that level, your child's not going to get mad at you. They're going to start to soften because you're softening. But sometimes as we have an altercation with somebody and we start to empathize, they actually are it's like, finally, someone's listening to me. And you'll find that their anger gets actually more so. As long as you don't get hooked, as long as you say, yes, I do hear you, sweetie. I hear how upset you are. I understand. Your child will the anger will start to just, all the air will go out of it, and your child will start to get in touch with the tears under the anger. There's always fear or tears under the anger. So as you empathize, your child, the first empathy might be met with anger, more anger even, but the next real empathy, what happens is your child softens. Now, we work on this a lot in the course. So if that feels too hard for you to do, then don't worry, we can take you through that. I know that was a lot to just pack in there, but it absolutely works with kids who are having a hard time, kids who are, strong-willed. I have a strong-willed daughter myself. I know what it's like to raise a strong-willed kid. And also, when kids get super mad, this is one of the things we're really good at because they have a reason, and we help them unpack that reason and gain the insight and the emotional regulation that they can control their behavior. I am starting to get hoarse, and we're almost time to stop here, but I just want to see Jennifer, can an alum, a course grad, purchase additional bonus audios? That's really easy. You just join the membership. The membership is $14.99 a month, and you have unlimited access to the audio. So you could just go and do it. So the answer is yes, 1 month, and it will give you unlimited access to the audio. So you certainly could be purchasing more. And I'm seeing here, Silky says, I bought and done the online course. Beautiful. If you've bought and finished it in the past, you already have the happily ever after course. You don't have to buy it. It's there. It's for free. Just go if you have a hard time figuring out what week it's in, we moved it recently. Don't worry. again, write to administrator at ahaparenting.com and she'll direct you to the right week, unless one of our team can put the right week in. Oh, Silk, I'm so glad that you find that the course is great. And we'll find you the right week so you can listen to the Happily Ever After audios. Wonderful. So I want to thank up. Marta says the bonuses are available for purchase, but in fact, Marta, what I'm saying is, no, those are different audios. The bonus audios that she's asking about, the ones that we give as a bonus in week 12, those are part of the membership. So it's a different thing, but it's easy. Just the membership is very inexpensive. And you also get a chance to come to office hours. I'd love to see you there. So Peter is saying that he's wondering whether his 4-year-old is on the spectrum. Yes, there are people whose kids are on the spectrum in the course. They have found it invaluable and they can walk you through. You're saying you're wondering if he's on the spectrum. They can walk you through how to understand what it means to have a child on the spectrum. How do you assess whether in fact that's the case, and how can you best parent? We have a lot of support for that. And Jane is asking, when my daughter is angry and I try to be with her, she tells me to go away. Yes, very common. So they don't really want you to go away. I had a mom tell me last week that she yelled at her husband when she was angry, go away. And then he went away and she felt bereft and abandoned and she was so furious at him. Our children don't really want us to go away, but they want us to listen. They want to titrate the closeness. If we're too close, they feel too close and they feel like all those big feelings come up when they're close to us. So she's saying, go away. And our answer is, you're telling me to go away. I hear you. I'm going to step back. I'm right here whenever you want me. So you step back. She's probably going to, she might say, go away one more time, and you step back a little more, but that's it. She's not going to keep telling you to go away. She just wants to titrate the closeness. And Astrid, you're saying, I thought we were able to talk to you today. So the way this StreamYard is set up, you can't actually unmute yourself and talk the way that people do in my office hours in the membership, but you can write me a question. I'm answering people's questions. So please write a question and ask it in the comments, and I'd be happy to answer for you. I'm looking to see other questions that haven't been answered. So Celine is asking about the Big Little Feelings course. I have no idea what the Big Little Feelings course is. All I can tell you is that sounds like it's just about feelings. And my course is comprehensive boot camp, all things parenting. It's about your own self-regulation, and it's about your connection with your child, and it's about coaching. Big Little Feelings sounds like it's just about emotion coaching. That's only one part of what we do. We drill down. You get a lot of support on it, but it's only really, it's not even 1/3 of this course. It's much less than that. So you get a lot on emotion coaching, but you get lots of other things as well, including how to break generational trauma. So Karen is saying she loses control too quickly when having disagreements. Karen, yes, simple step-by-step. It's not a book. It's this course. It takes you through. This is why people say that they got more out of this than they did out of therapy, because this helps you build your own ability to self-regulate. I'll tell you what one of the keys is. I mean, that was, I said the bottom line is give yourself support. Really, that's the most important key. The second, I would say, most important key, the place I see parents really get traction, self-compassion. When we're beating up on ourselves, we can't, we end up feeling worse. We shame ourselves. And then the next time we're in a disagreement, all of that stuff we push down just comes rushing out and we lose control again. Whereas if we can go afterwards and even during, treat ourselves with compassion and love, what we find is that loving witness inside ourselves allows us to love ourselves more, and we stop losing control so much. It's a more complicated process than that, but that's why I do the 60 daily meditations that I give you, the little 5-minute meditations, because we're rewiring your brain so that you will have more control. So if you end up taking the course, I want to hear from you and your evaluation, or write me an email after the course and just tell me, did you see this really change, because I guarantee you, I hear from people all the time how they feel their brain rewiring, and they watch that they're able to have more self-control when they get into a disagreement. So, um, is it suitable for teenagers? Colette's asking. Um, so, as I answered earlier, Colette, um, it is suitable for you. And when you change, your teenagers will change. And the basic ideas, absolutely. It's all with teenagers, it's all about your self regulation and your ability to connect with them. So it definitely is suitable for teenagers. But again, I would say if you do the first month and you feel like it's not, because I give a lot of examples of younger kids. So if you're feeling like, well, I don't know quite how to apply this, and you go into the Facebook group, there are a lot of people with teens there, and you ask them about your teens, I think you'll get so much more than the price you pay for this course. You'll get so much more help. So I think you'll love it. But again, refunds, no questions asked if after the first month you don't feel like this is meeting your needs as a parent of teenagers. Yes, LK is saying, well, you get a copy of the live stream. You will get a copy of this, and everyone who registered for this will get a copy. If you were on the Facebook page or the Instagram page or the YouTube page, I won't have your email address, so I won't be able to send you a copy. But if you, again, just write to, I'm thinking the best way to do this. What you need to do is go to the Yard Stream. Can one of the team members put in the Yard Stream link, the original link? And if you're registered there, which you can register right now, even at the end of our webinar, if you register there, everybody who's registered with Yardstream will get a copy of this. So no problem. And Nadine says, would love to have been able to sign up immediately. You can sign up immediately, Nadine. So if you have any problem, let me know that. Diana says, if you sign up for the cheat sheet, you get the live stream emailed to you. Thank you, Diana. Absolutely right. And Marta has put in the link to StreamYard so you can register there. Astrid, okay. Yes, there's a lot of questions in the chat. And you're saying your child is active. He's gotten better, but when you have to ask him to use his words, he gets upset. Okay. Please ask. And he taps you. Okay. So Astrid, I don't know how old your child is, but it sounds to me like you could start by connecting before you correct. You're correcting him. You're saying use your words. Understood. Sometimes when they're like doing this to us, we want them to use their words, right? But they're asking us for something that they really need at that moment. And they're probably, if they're doing this, you're saying tapping. Yes, he's 5 years old. Okay. So he's getting dysregulated. That's why he's tapping you. So I want to say, if he's tapping you like this and he's trying to get your attention, if you're starting with a redirect or a correct, it's not going to work. He's going to get upset because he feels like he's not getting through to you. He's trying to get connection. If you start with connection, it's like magic. It's like a magic wand. You connect before you redirect. You connect before you correct. So he's doing this to you and you say, even if you're talking to someone else, you can say to that person, I really want to hear this. Excuse me 1 minute. You go to your child, you put your hand so he stops like whacking you or whatever he's doing. And you say, you really want me right now. Notice he's just gotten what he needed. He got the connection. And you say, I'm talking to so-and-so, but it seems like you really need me. 1 second while I wrap up. And when I say wrap up, he's 5. He doesn't have a lot of time that he can hold himself together when you start this. Within a month of doing this, he'll be able to last for 3 minutes. But right now, you're training him to do this, and you have to stay with him in the connection. So you're still got his hand on you, and you're still holding his hand, and you might even put your hand on his cheek or his shoulder, or bring him over to you under your arm, and you say to Mrs. Jones, such a pleasure, and I really want to hear the end of your story. Let me take care of Jonathan. I'll be back. That's all. We can connect again later, whatever it is. And you turn to Jonathan, your son, and then you connect with him. And then after he's calmed down, later, you make a plan with him. You say, when this happens, it hurts me when you tap me, and it helps when you use your words. But it's hard, I know, to use the words when I'm talking to Mrs. Jones. Could we work out something better? Like maybe you come and you take my hand and you kiss it, and I will always pay attention. So you work out a signal. He'll love that secret code that he has with you. So that's an example of how you can stop him doing this to you. You were talking about the tapping. But I would just say, in general, when you're asking your child to use your words, always start by connecting. It sounds like you want this. I hear you. You're going to get this. I'm right here. Let's take a breath. Yes. Tell me what you need. That works a lot better than use your words, which sounds like a reprimand, honestly. Whereas, tell me what you need. Now you're in communication with them. You're getting the message. Everything our child does is a communication to us. So we want to let them know we hear that communication. And the more we're responsive to it, the more they don't have to overwhelm us to get their needs met because they trust that we're responsive. So, you were one-on-one with him. I see, Astrid. So it wasn't a question with Mrs. Jones, but so I'm glad to hear that was a good answer. I think Astrid, if you remember, connect before you correct, connect before you redirect, you're going to find it makes a huge difference in the child's ability to stay connected to you, even when you're setting a limit. And that's what keeps them from getting upset at us when we set a limit. So, Nadine, you're saying your inability to sign up is financial? Apply for a scholarship. Administrator at ahaparenting.com. We've never turned anybody away, and we've extended the scholarship deadline so that people who are at this webinar who are having financial challenges can still enroll in the course. We've never turned anyone away. These are always partial scholarships, but and they range in value, but we've never turned anybody away. Good, Astrid. I love that. I'm just seeing if there are more questions that I have missed. And let's see. Helping with kids with ADHD and anxiety. Yes. Yes, because Nina, here's the thing. Kids who are more challenging have a reason they're more challenging. Kids who have ADHD, their brain works a little differently. They need a different kind of parenting. And kids who are anxious, also their brain works a little differently. But now it may be that you'll need other resources in addition to this course, but this is always the foundation. Kids who have special challenges, they need connection more than other kids. They need their parents to be able to stay calm, and they are more of a challenge. So they need a parent who self-regulates and has the tools to do that more than other kids. And they need a different kind of coaching. So for anxiety, for instance, you give anxiety an inch, it takes a mile. So you need to work with a kid who's anxious so that the anxiety doesn't take over their life. And you need to educate your child about how the anxious brain works. But this is all stuff that you can get support to work with your child on. So yes, this course addresses parenting kids who have ADHD, who have anxiety, who are neurodivergent, kids who are more challenging. And how do we access the scholarship? Maybe somebody can put it. Oh, it's right there. Marta put it in the chat. Administrator at ahaparenting.com. If you just write and say that you're interested in a scholarship, Beth Peterson will walk you through how you can apply for one. And I am just looking for, I may not be able to go back to the very beginning of the chat, but I'm just making sure that we've gotten as many of these questions answered as we can. And we are going to wrap up. But I think I've gone back pretty far, and I think that we're going to stop because it was wonderful to talk to you all, but I know we could go on probably for hours. And don't worry, the questions you have, if your question didn't get answered, please bring it to the online course and you will get all the support you need for whatever your question was. So again, thank you so much for joining me live today. Make sure that you claimed your free gift And I'm going to go back to the slide that had the free gift, which was at the very beginning, so that you can use that URL if you didn't already. And the free gift is a little cheat sheet that is very useful for how to improve your parenting. No resolutions necessary. It says here, we might have to put this in the chat because I think my face might be blocking this out. Um, let's see. Oh, there it is. MailChimp, which has a dot in the middle of it. Aha Parenting, 10 Secrets Cheat Sheet. And this is 10 simple ways to improve your parenting. No resolutions necessary. If you did not yet go claim your cheat sheet, you can only get it during this webinar. So please, go claim that. Since you showed up live, you should get your free gift. And um, again, thank you for joining me. Thank you for the hard work you do every day in your home. And thank you for making the world a better place with the way that you parent your child. Have a wonderful 2024 and enjoy your family. Take care. Bye bye.